Lena hadn't planned to stop by Eric's office. The decision came from a gap in her schedule, the kind that usually disappeared once she filled it with errands or phone calls. That afternoon, the gap stayed open. She found herself driving past the turn she normally took, noticing she still had time, noticing the container of food on the seat beside her. It felt inefficient to go home first. It felt almost thoughtful not to. The building surprised her. She'd imagined something older, more familiar. Instead, it was all glass and reflected sky. She parked without much thought and walked in, adjusting the strap of her bag, rehearsing nothing in particular. At the desk, she gave Eric's name the way she always did, casually, without qualifiers. The receptionist asked her to repeat it. Lena did. She added that she was his wife, not because it felt necessary, but because it felt true. The receptionist typed longer than expected. There was a pause that didn't feel procedural. It felt personal, though Lena couldn't have said why. The woman checked again, her expression neutral but no longer automatic. "I don't see him here," she said. Lena smiled reflexively, already preparing to clarify. She assumed a minor error. A department mismatch. A recent change she'd forgotten. The receptionist didn't interrupt. She waited. Lena repeated the name. The title. The floor Eric had mentioned once, months ago. The woman listened, then shook her head slightly. Not dismissive, just certain. "I'm sorry," she said. "Are you sure?" The question landed harder than it should have. Lena stepped aside, texted Eric without thinking about what she'd say if he replied. He didn't. She looked back at the desk, at the woman who now seemed unsure whether to keep speaking. When the explanation came, it wasn't dramatic. It wasn't whispered. It was offered in the same tone used for directions or office hours. A simple clarification. Lena walked out before asking follow-up questions. Outside, the light felt different, harsher somehow. Across the street, a cafe window caught her attention only because of movement inside. Someone leaned forward. Someone laughed. Eric's laugh. She stood there longer than necessary, watching details she hadn't known to look for before. The way his body angled toward the woman across from him. The familiarity of their proximity. The absence of caution. Lena didn't go inside. She didn't call out. She didn't cry. She took out her phone and held it steady. That was the moment things began to separate. Not loudly, not cleanly, but enough that she could no longer pretend she was standing in the same place she'd been an hour earlier. She didn't yet know what she would do with what she'd seen. She only knew she wouldn't forget it. And she knew, without fully understanding why, that whatever this was, it hadn't started today. Lena drives home with the lunch container still on the passenger seat. She doesn't remember deciding to leave the cafe window, doesn't remember walking back to her car or starting the engine. The route is automatic, her hands moving through turns she's made hundreds of times. The radio is off. She notices that only when she's halfway there. At a red light, she looks at her phone. The photos are there. 2 of them, both clear enough. She zooms in on Eric's face, then the woman's hand on his wrist. The angle makes it look casual, but the duration, Lena had watched long enough to know it wasn't accidental. She doesn't delete them. She doesn't send them anywhere either. The light changes. Someone honks behind her. When she pulls into the driveway, Eric's car isn't there yet. She brings the container inside, sets it on the counter, doesn't open it. The kitchen is exactly as she left it that morning. Coffee mug in the sink. Newspaper folded to the crossword, half finished. She sits at the table and opens her laptop. Types the name of Eric's company into the search bar. The website loads. Clean. Professional. Staff directory available with login credentials only. She tries the username and password Eric uses for their shared accounts. Access denied. She scrolls through the About Us page instead. Reads names she doesn't recognize. Studies faces in the team photo. Eric isn't there. She tries variations. Maybe he's contracted. Maybe he's under a parent organization. Maybe the website is outdated. Her phone buzzes. Eric. Running late. Don't wait for dinner. She types a response. Deletes it. Types another. Okay. She sends it before she can revise. The house feels different now, though nothing has moved. She walks through rooms she's been in every day, noticing things that shouldn't matter. A jacket she doesn't remember seeing before. A receipt on his dresser, folded. She picks it up, unfolds it. A restaurant she's never been to. A date from last month when he'd said he was working late. She puts it back exactly where it was. In the bathroom, she washes her face longer than necessary. Her reflection doesn't look different. She expected something visible. A mark. Proof that the afternoon had happened. When Eric comes home 2 hours later, she's in the living room with a book she hasn't been reading. He drops his bag by the door, loosens his tie. Hey. Hey. He moves toward the kitchen. She hears the fridge open, close. The microwave beeping. Normal sounds. He comes back with a plate, sits on the opposite end of the couch. How was your day, he asks. Lena closes the book. Fine. Yours. Long. He eats without elaborating. She watches him from the corner of her eye. He doesn't look different either. Same posture. Same way of chewing. Same distracted glance at his phone when it lights up on the cushion beside him. He doesn't mention where he was. Doesn't ask where she went. I tried to bring you lunch, she says. He looks up. There's a flicker, too fast to name. Yeah? Where? Your office. The fork pauses halfway to his mouth. He sets it down. Which one? Lena doesn't blink. The one downtown. The building with the lobby. Eric nods slowly. Oh, I wasn't there today. Different site. They didn't have you listed. What do you mean? The receptionist. She checked. Your name wasn't in the system. He picks up the fork again. Resume's eating. Probably because I'm not full-time there. I'm consulting. Different database. His voice doesn't change. He doesn't look away. The explanation arrives smooth and immediate. Lena nods. That makes sense. Should have texted me first, he adds. Would have saved you the trip. I did. Oh. He glances at his phone. Must have missed it. Sorry. She doesn't ask why he didn't see it until now. Doesn't ask which site he was at. Doesn't ask why the receptionist seemed so certain he didn't work there at all. Eric finishes eating. Stands. Brings his plate to the kitchen. When he comes back, he sits closer. Not touching, but near enough that she could if she wanted to. You okay, he asks. Lena meets his eyes. They're the same eyes she's been looking at for years. Familiar. Steady. Yeah, she says. Just a weird day. He reaches for the remote. The television fills the silence. Later, in bed, he falls asleep before she does. She listens to his breathing. Even. Undisturbed. She reaches for her phone under the pillow. Opens the photos again. Stares at them until the screen dims. Then she opens her messages. Scrolls back through weeks of text from Eric. Short updates. Confirmations. Nothing that tells her where he actually was on any given day. She closes the phone. Puts it back. Beside her, Eric shifts slightly but doesn't wake. Lena stares at the ceiling. The confusion from the afternoon hasn't faded. It's sharpened. Taken shape. Grown edges. She still doesn't know what she's standing inside. But she knows now that asking won't tell her. She'll have to find out another way. Lena starts leaving work early. Not dramatically. 15 minutes here. 20 there. She tells herself it's practical. Traffic is lighter. She gets more done at home. The reasons accumulate, none of them true. What she actually does is drive past the cafe. The first time is accidental. Or she tells herself it's accidental. She takes a different route home, one that happens to pass the same block. The cafe window is visible from the intersection. She glances. Keeps driving. The second time, she parks across the street. Eric's car is there. Same spot as before. She recognizes it immediately, though dozens of similar cars line the curb. She knows the small dent on the passenger door. The parking sticker he never removed. Through the window, she sees him. Same table. The woman sits across from him again, her posture relaxed in a way that suggests routine. Lena watches them order. Watches the server smile at them like they're familiar. Watches Eric say something that makes the woman laugh. She doesn't go inside. Doesn't take more photos. Just sits with the engine off, hands on the steering wheel, staring. They stay for 40 minutes. When they stand to leave, the woman touches Eric's arm. A brief gesture. Possibly nothing. Possibly everything. Lena can't tell from this distance what it means, only that it happens without hesitation. They walk out together. Eric holds the door. On the sidewalk, they pause. The conversation continues. Eric checks his phone, shows her something on the screen. The woman leans in to see. Then they separate. Different directions. No goodbye kiss. No prolonged contact. Just a parting that looks rehearsed in its casualness. Lena waits until Eric's car pulls away before starting her own. At home, she arrives before him. She sets her bag down. Changes clothes. Starts dinner preparations she won't finish. Her phone is on the counter. She opens the browser. Types the woman's name, except she doesn't know it. She tries searching Eric's company name with keywords. Staff. Employees. Team. Nothing useful appears. She hears Eric's car in the driveway. By the time he walks in, Lena is at the stove, stirring something that doesn't need stirring. Smells good, he says. She doesn't turn around. It's almost ready. He moves past her, opens the fridge, closes it. She hears him washing his hands at the sink. How was your day? She asks. Same. Meetings. Paperwork. Where? The question comes out before she plans it. Too direct. Too specific. Eric pauses. The main office. What? Just wondering. He doesn't elaborate. She doesn't push. They eat at the table. Eric talks about a project deadline. A client who keeps changing requirements. Details that sound real but feel hollow. Lena nods in the right places. Asks surface questions. You're quiet tonight, Eric says. Tired. He accepts this. Returns to his food. Later, she clears the dishes while he answers emails on his laptop at the table. She watches his reflection in the window above the sink. His face is calm, focused, unchanged. She wonders if hers looks the same to him. That night, she waits until he's asleep. Then she takes his phone from the nightstand. The screen is locked. She tries his birthday, their anniversary. Nothing. She tries the passcode he used to use for everything. Access denied. She puts it back carefully. Exact placement. Same angle. In the morning, she doesn't mention it. Instead, she watches him dress. Watches him check his phone. Watches him kiss her forehead on his way out. Routine, automatic, empty of intent. After he leaves, she sits at the kitchen table with her own phone. She opens a new note. Types the date. Writes, Café. 40 minutes. Same woman. Familiar. Then she adds the address. The time. The table they sat at. She doesn't know what she'll do with this information. She only knows she needs it written down. Confirmed. Real. The next afternoon, she drives past the cafe again. Eric's car is there. She parks in the same spot. Watches the same scene unfold. Different clothes. Same rhythm. The woman gestures while talking. Eric listens. They share something from a single plate between them. Lena adds it to her note. Another date. Another timestamp. She starts taking different routes home from work. Routes that pass the cafe. Routes that pass the building where Eric claims not to work. Sometimes his car is there. Sometimes it isn't. She doesn't follow him to new places. She doesn't create opportunities to confront him. She just observes. Records. Waits for patterns to clarify. One evening, she drives past the cafe at a different time. Later than usual. Eric's car is gone, but she parks anyway. Goes inside for the first time. The server who approaches is the same one she's seen through the window. Young. Efficient. Friendly. Just you tonight? The server asks. Yes. Lena sits at a different table. Orders coffee she doesn't want. The server brings it quickly. Let me know if you need anything else. Lena hesitates, then asks, do you get a lot of regulars? The server smiles. A few. What? I thought I saw someone I know. Comes here with a woman. Sits by the window. Recognition flickers across the server's face. Oh, yeah, they're here a lot. Tuesdays and Thursdays, usually. How long? Sorry, how long have they been coming? The server's expression shifts slightly. Uncertain now. A while, I guess. Few months. Lena nods. Doesn't ask anything else. She drinks half the coffee. Leaves cash on the table. Walks out. In the car, she adds another note. Regular schedule. Months. Not recent. She drives home. Eric is already there. Jacket off. Tie loosened. Television on. Where were you? He asks. Errands. He doesn't ask which ones. Lena sits beside him. They watch a show neither of them comments on. His hand rests on the armrest between them. She doesn't reach for it. Later, in bed, she lies awake. Eric sleeps beside her. Undisturbed. Unaware. She knows what she's seen. She doesn't know what it means. But she knows it isn't nothing. Lena stops asking questions. She makes breakfast. Packs lunches. Responds to texts with appropriate timing. At work, she attends meetings. Contributes when expected. Her performance doesn't slip. No one notices anything different. At home, she sets the table. Pours wine. Listens to Eric talk about his day. She nods. Makes eye contact. Laughs at the right moments. You seem better, Eric says one evening. Better. Less tired. More like yourself. Lena refills his glass. I feel fine. She does and doesn't. The exhaustion has shifted. It's not confusion anymore. It's maintenance. Holding her face steady. Keeping her voice level. Remembering to ask follow-up questions about things she doesn't care about. Some mornings, she wakes before the alarm, lies still, watches Eric sleep, studies his face for signs of something she can't name. Guilt, tension, anything that suggests he's carrying weight. He looks peaceful. She gets up, starts coffee, showers, dresses. By the time Eric wakes, she's already moving through the routine. "You're up early," he says, walking into the kitchen. "Couldn't sleep. You okay?" "Fine." He accepts this. Always does. She drives to work, sits in traffic, thinks about Tuesdays and Thursdays, thinks about the cafe table, the woman's hand on Eric's wrist, the server's recognition. At her desk, she opens spreadsheets, reviews reports, responds to emails. Her hands move automatically. Her mind stays split. One afternoon, a coworker stops by. Lunch. Lena looks up. "I can't today." "You've said that all week." "Big project." The coworker lingers. "You sure you're okay?" "I'm fine." Lena smiles. It feels like the right shape. Just busy. She eats at her desk, scrolls through her phone, opens the note with dates and timestamps. Adds nothing new. Just reads what's already there. At home that evening, Eric is on a call when she arrives. She hears his voice from the home office. Professional. Upbeat. She sets her bag down quietly. Doesn't interrupt. When he emerges 20 minutes later, his expression is neutral. "Client," he explains. "How'd it go?" "Fine. They want changes. Always want changes." He moves to the kitchen, opens a beer, offers her one. She declines. They sit on the couch. The television plays something neither of them chose. Eric's phone buzzes. He glances at it, types a response, sets it face down on the cushion. Lena watches from the corner of her eye. "Who was that?" she asks. "Work. This late." He shrugs. They don't care about time zones. She nods, returns her attention to the screen. His phone buzzes again. He picks it up, reads. Doesn't respond this time. Just locks it and puts it in his pocket. "I should finish some things," he says, standing. "Now. Won't take long." He disappears back into the office. The door closes most of the way. Not completely. Just enough. Lena sits alone. The television continues. She doesn't process what's happening on screen. Just stares at colors and movement. After 30 minutes, she walks to the office door. Listens. Eric's voice is low. Conversation, not a meeting. Personal cadence. The kind reserved for people you're comfortable with. She doesn't push the door open. Doesn't announce herself. Just stands there long enough to confirm what she already knows. Then she walks back to the couch. When Eric returns an hour later, she's still there. "Sorry," he says. "Took longer than expected." "It's fine." He sits beside her, closer than before. His hand finds her knee. "We should do something this weekend," he says. "Like what?" "I don't know. Dinner? Movie?" Lena looks at him. His face is open, earnest. The suggestion feels genuine. "Sure," she says. "I'll make a reservation." "Okay." He kisses her temple, returns his attention to the television. Lena's body doesn't move. She stays exactly as she is. Breathing steady, expression neutral. Inside, something tightens. Later, in the bathroom, she stares at her reflection. Same face, same tired eyes. She brushes her teeth, washes her face, completes the routine without deviation. In bed, Eric reaches for her. She doesn't pull away, doesn't lean in, just exists in the space between. "You're quiet lately," he says. "Am I?" "More than usual. Just tired." His hand moves to her shoulder. "You'd tell me if something was wrong, right?" Lena turns to face him. His eyes are searching. Concerned, maybe. Or curious. She can't tell anymore. "Of course," she says. He seems satisfied. Rolls onto his back. His breathing evens out within minutes. Lena stays awake. She counts his breaths. Tracks the rhythm. Wonders if he sleeps this well every night. If guilt keeps him up. If he thinks about her when he's with the other woman. If he thinks about the other woman when he's here. She doesn't know the answers. Doesn't know how to ask without revealing what she's been doing. So she stays silent. The next morning, she wakes first again. Makes coffee. Eric joins her in the kitchen, already dressed for work. "What time will you be home?" she asks. 6, probably. Maybe 7. "Okay." "Why?" "Just asking." He pours coffee, adds milk, stirs longer than necessary. "Are we good?" he asks. Lena meets his eyes. "Why wouldn't we be?" "I don't know. You seem distant." "I'm right here. You know what I mean." She doesn't respond immediately. Lets the silence stretch. Then says, "We're fine." Eric nods. Drinks his coffee. Checks his watch. I should go. Drive safe. He kisses her. Quick. Routine. Then he's gone. Lena stands in the kitchen. The house settles into silence. She finishes her coffee, rinses the cup, places it in the dishwasher. Her phone is on the counter. She picks it up, opens the note, reads through the dates again. Today is Thursday. She checks the time, calculates. If she leaves work at 4, she could be at the cafe by 4:30. She doesn't decide yet, just knows she could. At work, the hours pass slowly. She completes tasks without thinking about them, answers questions, attends a meeting, contributes appropriately. At 3:30, she closes her laptop. By 4, she's in her car. By 4:30, she's parked across from the cafe. Eric's car is there. Same spot. She doesn't feel surprised, just confirmed. Through the window, she sees them. Same table, same proximity. The woman is talking. Eric is listening, attentive, engaged. Lena watches for 10 minutes, then 20, then 30. Nothing changes. Nothing new happens. But the repetition itself is the revelation. This is his life. This schedule. This person. This routine. And she is somewhere else in it. A different routine. A different schedule. Lena starts her car. Drives home. She arrives before Eric. Prepares dinner. Sets the table. Opens wine. When he walks in at 7, she smiles. How was your day? She asks. Long, he says. Yours? Fine. They eat. They talk. They clean up together. Everything appears normal. Everything is not. And Lena says nothing. Lena opens the bank statement on a Wednesday during her lunch break. She's been meaning to review it for weeks. That's what she tells herself. Normal financial maintenance. She sits in her car with a sandwich she won't eat and scrolls through transactions on her phone. Most of it is familiar. Groceries. Utilities. Insurance. The mortgage payment. Her eyes move down the list without catching on anything. Then she sees a transfer she doesn't recognize. $500. Moved from their joint account to an account number she's never seen before. The date is from 3 months ago. She scrolls further. Finds another. Same amount. Same destination. 2 weeks earlier. She opens a new browser window. Logs into the account with Eric's email. The password she tries first doesn't work. Neither does the second. On the third attempt, she's locked out. She sets the phone down. Finishes half the sandwich without tasting it. That evening, she waits until Eric is in the shower. His wallet is on the dresser. She opens it quickly. Credit cards she recognizes. His driver's license. Insurance card. Behind those, another card. Different bank. She photographs it. Returns everything exactly as it was. Eric emerges from the bathroom in a towel. What are you doing? Lena looks up from her phone. Just checking email. He moves to the closet. Pulls out clothes. Doesn't ask anything else. After he's asleep, she searches the bank name from the card. Finds the website. Tries to create an account using Eric's information. The system tells her an account already exists. She tries the password reset option. Enters Eric's email. The system sends a verification code to an email address she doesn't have access to. She closes the laptop. Stares at the dark screen. The next morning, she goes to the bank branch near her office. Brings her ID. The joint account information. Asks to see transaction history going back a year. The teller prints it. Hands it across the counter without questions. Lena folds it. Puts it in her bag. Doesn't look at it until she's back in her car. She spreads the pages across the passenger seat. Finds the transfers. More than she'd seen on her phone. 15 in total. All the same amount. All to the same account number. She calculates. $7,500. She drives back to work. Sits through an afternoon meeting. Nods when her name is mentioned. Contributes a comment that sounds informed. At home that evening, Eric is already cooking. You're home early, she says. Finished up quick. He stirs something on the stove. Thought I'd handle dinner for once. Lena sets her bag down. That's nice. How was work? Busy. She doesn't mention the bank. Doesn't mention the transfers. Just watches him move around the kitchen with ease. Comfortable. Unhurried. They eat at the table. Eric talks about a coworker who's leaving. Someone Lena has never met. He tells a story about their last day. Makes it sound amusing. Lena laughs at the right moment. We should check the budget soon, she says. Eric looks up. Why? Just haven't in a while. I checked it last week. We're fine. I'd like to see it anyway. He nods slowly. Sure. I'll pull it up this weekend. Tonight would be better. The fork pauses. Tonight, if you have time. Eric sets his fork down. Is something wrong? No. I just want to see where we are. He studies her. She keeps her expression neutral. Okay, he says finally. After dinner, they finish eating in silence. Eric clears the table, opens his laptop at the kitchen counter. Lena stands beside him. He logs into their financial software, pulls up the summary page. Everything looks normal. Income, expenses, savings. The numbers align with what she expects. See, Eric says, we're good. What about transfers? What transfers? The ones to the other account. Eric's face doesn't change. Not immediately. Just a fraction of a second delay. Those are for the business account. What business account? The consulting work. I have to keep it separate for taxes. Since when? Few months. My accountant suggested it. Lena nods. Can I see that account? It's work stuff. Boring. I'd still like to see it. Eric closes the laptop. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Interrogating me about finances. We've never had issues with money. I'm not interrogating. I'm asking. It feels the same. Lena doesn't respond. Just waits. Eric reopens the laptop. Navigates to a different site. Logs in. The account appears. Balance, $3,000. Recent transactions, payments from clients. A few expenses. Office supplies. Software subscriptions. Happy? Eric asks. Lena scans the screen. Where do the deposits come from? Clients. Which ones? Does it matter? I'm curious. Eric clicks through several transactions. Shows her company names. Some she recognizes. Most she doesn't. And the $500 transfers? She asks. That's me moving money from our account to this one. For expenses. Why that amount? It's what I need monthly. The explanation is smooth. Logical. Complete. Lena nods. Okay. Eric closes the laptop again. Are we done? Yes. He stands. Walks to the living room without another word. Lena stays in the kitchen. Opens her phone. Pulls up the bank statement from earlier. Compares the dates of the transfers to the dates Eric just showed her. They don't match. The transfers from the joint account stopped 4 months ago. But the expenses in Eric's business account continue through last week. She closes her phone. Joins Eric in the living room. He's on the couch. Television on. Body language closed. She sits in the chair across from him. I'm sorry, she says. For what? Being pushy about the finances. Eric glances at her. It's fine. I just wanted to understand. And now you do. Yeah. He returns his attention to the screen. Lena doesn't say anything else. Just sits there, pretending to watch. Later, in bed, Eric doesn't reach for her. Stays on his side. Facing away. She lies awake. Goes through the numbers in her head. The discrepancies. The gaps. In the morning, she calls in sick to work. After Eric leaves, she goes to his home office. Opens the filing cabinet. It's unlocked. She finds folders labeled by year. Tax returns. Invoices. Receipts. She photographs everything. Doesn't read closely. Just captures pages. One after another. By the time she finishes, she has over 200 images on her phone. She returns everything to its place. Closes the drawer. Checks that nothing looks disturbed. At her laptop, she opens the photos. Starts going through them slowly. An invoice from 8 months ago. A restaurant she's never heard of. Catering for a corporate event. Eric's signature at the bottom. She searches the restaurant name. Finds it. Reads reviews. Looks at photos. It's the cafe. Different name on the paperwork, but the same location. The same window she's been watching through. She keeps scrolling. Another receipt. A payment to a leasing company. 3 months ago. An address she doesn't recognize. She types it into maps. Pulls up Street View. An apartment building. 20 minutes from their house. She doesn't drive there. Not yet. Just sits with the address open on her screen. Her phone buzzes. Eric, how are you feeling? She stares at the message. Types, better. Just needed rest. Good. I'll be home late. Don't wait up. Lena doesn't respond. She returns to the photos. Finds a credit card statement. A different card. Not the one from his wallet. Charges she doesn't recognize. A furniture store. A jewelry purchase. A hotel. All within the last 6 months. She screenshots everything. Organizes it into folders on her phone. By the time she's done, it's afternoon. She makes tea. Sits at the kitchen table. Opens her laptop again. Searches the furniture store. Finds their website. Looks at the types of items they sell. Bedroom sets. Living room furniture. Dining tables. Not office furniture. She closes the laptop. That evening, Eric comes home after 10. She's already in bed. He undresses quietly, slides under the covers without waking her, or without trying to. Lena keeps her breathing even, eyes closed, body still. She doesn't sleep, just lies there, counting, calculating, reframing everything she thought she knew. Lena drives to the address on a Saturday morning. Eric left early. A meeting, he said. Didn't specify where. She didn't ask. The apartment building is newer than their house. Red brick, clean lines, a courtyard visible from the street. She parks 2 blocks away, walks back on foot. There's a directory by the front entrance. She scans the names. None of them are Eric's. None of them are familiar. She tries the door. Locked. Needs a code. A woman exits carrying groceries. Lena catches the door before it closes. Smiles. The woman doesn't question it. Inside, the lobby is quiet. Polished floors. A wall of mailboxes. She reads the apartment numbers. Tries to match them to the address on the lease. 3B. She takes the stairs. 3rd floor. Walks down the hallway slowly. The carpet muffles her steps. At 3B, she stops. Presses her ear to the door. Hears nothing. She tries the handle. Locked. She photographs the door. The number. The hallway. Then she leaves. Back in her car, she sits without starting the engine. Opens her phone. Searches the leasing company name from the paperwork. Finds their website. Calls the number listed. A woman answers. Professional. Efficient. I'm calling about a unit, Lena says. 3B. I wanted to confirm the lease terms. Are you the leaseholder? My husband is. Eric Brennan. Pause. He's typing. I have an Eric Brennan. The lease started in July. 1-year term. Would you like to schedule a renewal consultation? No, that's fine. I just needed to confirm. Thank you. She ends the call. July. 6 months ago. She starts the car. Drives home. In the driveway, she sits with the engine off. Thinks about furniture deliveries. About lease signatures. About the decision to rent a separate space and not mention it. Inside, she opens her laptop. Searches Eric's name with the woman's name she still doesn't know. Nothing appears. She tries variations. Company names. Location tags. Social media platforms. On the 3rd site, she finds a photo. A corporate event from 4 months ago. Eric in the background. The woman beside him. Both smiling. A caption mentions the company Eric claims to consult for. She clicks through to the woman's profile. Private. Limited information visible. But the profile picture shows her clearly. Lena screenshots it. She opens her messages. Scrolls through her contacts. Finds a friend who works in commercial real estate. Someone she hasn't talked to in months. Hey, random question. Do you know anything about leasing practices for corporate housing? The response comes 10 minutes later. Some. Why? Just curious. If someone leased an apartment through a business, would it show up on personal credit? Depends. Business lease wouldn't usually. Why are you asking? Research for work. Thanks. She closes the messages. Eric comes home at 3. She's in the kitchen, chopping vegetables that don't need chopping. How was your meeting? She asks. Fine. Productive. He doesn't elaborate. She doesn't push. That night, they go to the restaurant Eric promised. A place downtown. Nice but not extravagant. He made the reservation days ago. They sit by the window. Eric orders wine. Lena accepts a glass. This is nice, he says. It is. We should do this more often. We should. The conversation continues like this. Surface observations. Mutual agreement. Nothing beneath. Midway through dinner, Eric's phone buzzes. He glances at it. Types a quick response. Sets it face down. Work? Lena asks. Yeah. On a Saturday? It doesn't stop. She cuts into her food. Must be exhausting. It is sometimes. Do you ever think about slowing down? Eric looks up. What do you mean? Taking fewer clients. Working less. He sets his fork down. We need the income. Do we? Of course we do. We've always been fine on my salary and your base pay. Eric picks up his wine. Drinks. The consulting brings in more. It gives us flexibility. For what? For whatever we want. Travel. Savings. Security. Lena nods. When was the last time we traveled? Eric doesn't answer immediately. It's been a while. 2 years. Has it been that long? Yes. He reaches across the table. Takes her hand. We should fix that. Where do you want to go? I don't know. Anywhere. Pick a place. Lena looks at their hands. His thumb moves across her knuckles. Familiar gesture. Practiced. I'll think about it, she says. Eric squeezes. releases, returns to his food. They finish dinner. Drive home. The silence in the car feels different than it used to. Not comfortable, just absent. At home, Eric suggests a movie. They sit on the couch. Lena doesn't follow the plot, just watches light move across the screen. Eric falls asleep 20 minutes in. His head tilts back, mouth slightly open. Lena takes his phone from the coffee table. The screen lights up. Locked. She tries his old passcode. Doesn't work. Tries their anniversary. Doesn't work. Tries his birthday backward. Doesn't work. The phone locks her out after the third attempt. She sets it back exactly where it was. Eric stirs, but doesn't wake. Lena stands. Walks to the bedroom. Opens her laptop. She pulls up the photos from Eric's office again. Goes through them more carefully this time. Looking for patterns. Connections. An invoice from the furniture store. Dated August. $3,000. Delivered to the apartment address. A receipt from a department store. Bedding. Cookware. Towels. Another from an electronics retailer. A television. She finds a credit card statement from the card she doesn't recognize. Goes through each charge. Monthly payments to the leasing company. Utility setup fees for the apartment. Grocery purchases from a store near the apartment address. Not just once. Weekly. For months. She calculates the total. Over $20,000 in 6 months. Money from accounts she doesn't have access to. Income she doesn't see reported on their joint taxes. She opens a new document. Starts listing everything. Dates. Amounts. Locations. Patterns. The apartment lease, July. The furniture delivery, August. The first cafe meeting she witnessed, September. But the credit card statements show restaurant charges going back further. Same location. Same pattern. Before the apartment. She scrolls back through her photos. Finds older statements. Goes back a full year. The charges continue. Different amounts. Same patterns. A hotel room. Once a week for 3 months. Then the apartment. A jewelry purchase. Valentine's Day. Last year. More restaurants. Different locations. Always 2 charges. Dinner and drinks. The pattern isn't new. It's established. She closes the laptop. Sits in the dark. Eric appears in the doorway. Groggy. You coming to bed? In a minute. He disappears. Lena doesn't move. Just sits there. Calculating duration. Effort. Intention. This is an impulse. It's architecture. A second life. Built deliberately. Maintained consistently. Funded systematically. Not an affair that happened. A life that was constructed. She thinks about the apartment she hasn't seen inside. The furniture chosen without her. The routines she isn't part of. The version of Eric that exists there. And the version that comes home to her. That kisses her forehead. That suggests travel. That holds her hand across restaurant tables. Both real. Both sustained. Both requiring effort. She doesn't understand why. That's what she can't piece together. The reason. The calculation behind it. If he wanted to leave, he could. If he wanted someone else, he could choose that. Instead, he maintains both. Parallel lines that never intersect. She opens the laptop again. Searches for divorce attorneys. Not because she's decided. Just to see what the process looks like. The websites all ask the same questions. Assets. Children. Fault or no fault. She closes them. Walks to the bedroom. Eric is asleep again. She slides under the covers. Stays on her side. Facing away. Tomorrow she'll go back to the apartment. Find a way inside. See what's there. Not to confront. Not yet. Just to know. Lena doesn't go back to the apartment. She wakes Sunday morning with the intention. Showers. Dresses. Has coffee. Eric is still asleep. She picks up her keys. Holds them. Then she sets them down. Instead, she sits at the kitchen table. Opens her phone. Looks at the photos she's already taken. The door marked 3B. The hallway. The building exterior. She doesn't need more photos. She knows the address. The lease term. The furniture inside. The monthly cost. The pattern. Going there won't tell her anything new. So she stays home. Eric wakes an hour later. Finds her at the table with cold coffee. You're up early, he says. Couldn't sleep. Want to do something today? Lena looks up. Like what? I don't know. Drive somewhere. Get out of the house. I have things to do. What things? Laundry. Cleaning. Eric pours coffee. That can wait. I'd rather just stay here. He leans against the counter. Studies her. You've been quiet lately. You've said that before. Because it's true. Lena doesn't respond. Just turns her attention back to her phone. Eric drinks his coffee standing up. Then leaves the room. She hears him in the bedroom. Drawers opening, closing. He's getting dressed. When he returns, he has his gym bag. I'm going out for a while, he says. Okay. You sure you don't want to come? I'm sure. He kisses the top of her head. I'll be back in a few hours. After he leaves, Lena sits in the silence. She could follow him. She knows that. Could get in her car. See where he actually goes. Whether it's the gym or the apartment or somewhere else entirely. She doesn't move. The house feels larger when she's alone. Every sound amplified. The hum of the refrigerator. The distant traffic. Her own breathing. She opens her laptop. Pulls up the document where she's been tracking everything. Reads through it again. Nothing has changed since yesterday. The information is the same. She adds the date at the bottom. Writes, Sunday. Eric to gym. Or apartment. Unknown. Then she closes the document without saving the change. In the bedroom, she opens Eric's side of the closet. Looks at his clothes hanging there. Shirts she's washed. Pants she's picked up from the dry cleaner. Everything familiar. She wonders what's in the apartment closet. If there are duplicates. A second wardrobe. Or if he moves things back and forth. Carries pieces of one life into the other. She closes the closet door. In the bathroom, she opens the medicine cabinet. His razor. His toothbrush. His cologne. All present. She closes it. Walks back to the kitchen. Sits in the same chair. 3 hours pass. Eric returns. Showered. Hair damp. Good workout? She asks. Yeah. You should have come. Maybe next time. He opens the fridge. Pulls out a container. Eats standing up. What do you want for dinner? He asks. I don't care. We could order something. Sure. Eric looks at his phone. Scrolls through options. Thai. Fine. He places the order. Comes to sit across from her at the table. Are you okay? He asks. Lena meets his eyes. Why do you keep asking that? Because you seem, I don't know, distant. I'm right here. Physically. She doesn't respond. Eric reaches across the table. Takes her hand. If something's wrong, you can tell me. Lena looks at their hands. His fingers are warm. Steady. The touch feels real even though she knows what it's hiding. Nothing's wrong, she says. Are you sure? I'm sure. He squeezes once. Let's go. The food arrives 40 minutes later. They eat in the living room. Television on. Some show neither of them chose. Just background. Eric's phone buzzes during dinner. He glances at it. Doesn't pick it up. It buzzes again. He reaches for it. Types a response. Sets it down. Who is it? Lena asks. Just work. On Sunday. They don't care about weekends. She nods. Returns her attention to her food. His phone buzzes a third time. He silences it. Puts it in his pocket. After dinner, he suggests a walk. The weather is mild. They haven't been outside together in weeks. Lena agrees. They walk around the neighborhood. Past houses they've passed dozens of times. Trees they've watched change with seasons. Nothing looks different, but Lena sees it differently now. These houses where other people live. Other couples. She wonders how many of them are what they appear to be. How many have parallel structures she can't see. Eric takes her hand as they walk. She doesn't pull away. Just lets her hand exist in his. This is nice, he says. It is. We used to do this more. We did. We should get back to it. Lena doesn't respond. Just walks. They circle back home. The sun is setting. The light is orange, then pink, then gone. Inside, Eric sits on the couch. Pats the space beside him. Lena sits. Not touching, but close. He puts on a movie. Something they've both seen before. She watches without processing. Just stares at the screen. Halfway through, Eric's head tilts toward her shoulder. Then rests there. Lena doesn't move. Doesn't pull away. Doesn't lean in. Just exists in the same space. The movie ends. Eric is asleep. Lena extracts herself carefully. He shifts but doesn't wake. She goes to the bedroom. Lies down fully clothed. Stares at the ceiling. Her phone is beside her. She picks it up. Scrolls through the photos again. The apartment door. The building. The evidence she's collected. She could do something with it tomorrow. Could go to the apartment. Could confront Eric. Could call a lawyer. She sets the phone down. Not yet. Not tomorrow either. She doesn't know when. Just knows it isn't now. Eric appears in the doorway. Sees her awake. You coming to bed? He asks. I am in bed. You know what I mean. She sits up. Starts to undress. Eric does the same. They get under the covers. He moves closer. His hand finds her waist. Lena, he says. She doesn't respond. His hand stays where it is. Doesn't move further. Just rests there. After a few minutes, his breathing evens. His hand relaxes. Falls away. Lena lies awake. She thinks about tomorrow, about the week ahead, about the choice to act or not act. She knows what Eric is doing. She knows where. She knows how long it's been happening. She has evidence, documentation, proof, and she's doing nothing with it. The weight of that decision presses down, heavier each day, but somehow, the idea of moving forward feels heavier still. Not because she's afraid, not because she doesn't know what to do, because once she acts, there's no returning to this moment, no continuing the observation, no watching without being seen. The discovery will become real in a different way. Public, legal, final. Right now it's hers. Her knowledge, her choice, her timing. Once she speaks, it belongs to everyone. To lawyers, to friends who will ask questions, to family who will take sides, to Eric, who will have to respond. And she isn't ready to give it away yet. So she waits. Beside her, Eric sleeps. Undisturbed. Unaware that she knows. Unaware that she's known for weeks. Lena closes her eyes. Tomorrow she'll wake up. Make coffee. Get dressed. Go to work. Come home. Make dinner. Sit beside Eric on the couch. And the day after that, the same. And the day after that. Until something shifts. Until she's ready. Until the waiting becomes impossible. But not yet. Not yet. Lena calls the lawyer on Tuesday afternoon. She uses her lunch break. Sits in her car in the parking garage. The number is one she found 3 weeks ago. Saved without calling. The receptionist transfers her. The lawyer answers on the second ring. This is Patricia Keene. Lena doesn't speak immediately. Hello, the lawyer says. I need a consultation, Lena says. What kind? Divorce. Have you filed? No. Are you planning to? I don't know. Patricia doesn't fill the silence. Just waits. I need to understand the process, Lena continues. What it would look like. What I'd need. Can you come in? I have an opening Thursday at 2. Yes. I'll need your contact information. Lena provides it. Uses her work email. Not the one Eric knows. See you Thursday, Patricia says. The call ends. Lena sits in the car. The engine is off. The parking garage is cold. She doesn't notice. Thursday arrives. Lena tells her office she has a doctor's appointment. Leaves at 1:30. Drives to the law office downtown. The building is older. Marble floors. Wood paneling. She takes the elevator to the 4th floor. The receptionist checks her in. Offers water. Lena declines. Patricia appears 10 minutes later. Late 50s. Gray suit. Direct handshake. Come in. The office is neat. Minimal decoration. 2 chairs facing a desk. Patricia gestures to one. Lena sits. Patricia closes the door. Sits across from her. Opens a legal pad. Tell me why you're here, she says. Lena starts with the receptionist who couldn't find Eric's name. The cafe. The repeated observations. She keeps her voice level. Factual. Describes what she saw without interpreting it. Patricia takes notes. Doesn't interrupt. When Lena gets to the bank statements, Patricia looks up. Do you have copies? Lena pulls out her phone. Shows her the screenshots. Patricia scrolls through them. Her expression doesn't change. The apartment? Patricia asks. I have the address. The lease information. I called the leasing company. Did you identify yourself? As his wife. Patricia nods. Keeps scrolling. And you haven't confronted him? No. Why not? Lena doesn't answer immediately. I wanted to understand it first. Do you understand it now? No. Patricia hands the phone back. What do you want from this meeting? I want to know what happens if I file. That depends on several factors. Assets. Duration of marriage. Income disparity. Children. No children. How long married? 7 years. Patricia writes this down. Joint assets. The house. Savings. 2 cars. Retirement accounts. Separate assets. I don't know what he has separately anymore. Do you work? Yes. Income. Lena tells her. And his. I thought I knew. Now I'm not sure. Patricia sets her pen down. What you've described suggests intentional concealment of assets. That matters in court. Lena nods. Have you documented everything? Yes. Good. Keep doing that. Don't let him know you're documenting. I haven't. If you file, you'll need to provide discovery. Bank records. Tax returns. Any evidence of separate accounts or undisclosed income. I have most of that. Patricia leans back. The apartment is the biggest issue. If it's leased in his name, funded with marital assets without your knowledge, that's a problem for him. What kind of problem? Dissipation of marital assets. Courts don't look favorably on one spouse hiding significant expenses during the marriage. Lena absorbs this. What about the other person? What about them? Do they matter? Not legally. California is a no-fault state. His relationship with someone else doesn't affect property division. So it doesn't matter. Not to the court. It might matter to you. Lena doesn't respond to that. Patricia picks up her pen again. If you decide to file, here's what happens. You serve him with papers. He has 30 days to respond. We enter discovery. Both sides disclose financial information. We negotiate a settlement or go to trial. How long does it take? 6 months minimum. Often longer if assets are contested. And in the meantime, you can request temporary orders. Support. Exclusive use of the home. Depends on the circumstances. Lena looks at her hands. Do I have to file right away? No. You can wait. But the longer you wait, the more complicated it can become. Why? More time for assets to be moved, hidden, spent. If you know something is happening, documenting it is smart. But at some point, you need to act on that documentation. When Patricia closes her legal pad, that's not a legal question. That's a personal one. Lena meets her eyes. If you were me, I'd file. But I'm not you. Silence. Patricia stands. Think about it. If you decide to move forward, call me. I'll need a retainer. $5,000 to start. Lena stands as well. How much total? Depends on how contested it is. If he fights, could be $20,000 or more. Lena nods. One more thing, Patricia says. Once you file, there's no going back. Make sure you're ready. I will. They shake hands. Lena leaves. In the car, she sits without starting the engine. Thinks about discovery. About serving papers. About Eric's face when he realizes she knows. She starts the car. Drives back to work. Arrives 20 minutes late from lunch. Her manager doesn't comment. The rest of the day passes normally. She answers emails. Reviews reports. Attends a meeting. At 5:30, she leaves. Drives home. Eric is already there. Cooking again. Something that smells good. How is the doctor, he asks. She forgot she told him that. Fine. Routine checkup. Everything okay? Everything's fine. He stirs something on the stove. Good. Lena sets her bag down. Goes to the bedroom. Changes clothes. Her phone buzzes. An email from Patricia's office. Confirmation of the consultation. A link to a client portal. Information about retainer agreements. She deletes it. At dinner, Eric talks about work. A project that's going well. A client who's difficult. Normal conversation. Lena listens. Responds appropriately. Asks questions. She doesn't mention the lawyer. Doesn't mention dissipation of assets. Doesn't mention that she now knows exactly what her options are. After dinner, they clean up together. Eric washes. Lena dries. The routine is familiar. You seem better, Eric says. Better how? More like yourself. Less. I don't know. Distant. Lena puts a plate in the cabinet. I feel fine. Good. I was worried. About what? About us. She looks at him. He's focused on the dishes. Hands in soapy water. Expression neutral. Why were you worried, she asks. You've been different lately. Quiet. I thought maybe. He trails off. Maybe what? Maybe you were unhappy. Lena picks up another dish. Dries it. Are you happy? Eric pauses. Looks at her. Yes. Are you? The question hangs. Lena doesn't answer immediately. Just finishes drying the dish. Sets it down. I don't know, she says finally. Eric's hands stop moving. What does that mean? It means I don't know. He pulls his hands from the water. Dries them on a towel. Do you want to talk about it? Not right now. When? I don't know. Eric doesn't push. Just nods. Finishes the dishes in silence. Later, in bed, he doesn't reach for her. Stays on his side. Facing away. Lena lies awake. Thinks about Patricia's words. Once you file, there's no going back. She knows that's true. She also knows she's not ready. Not yet. Even with the lawyer's number saved. Even with the retainer amount memorized. Even with the timeline clear in her head. She needs more time. Not to gather evidence. She has enough. Not to understand. She understands what's happening. She needs time to sit with the decision. To feel its weight. To know that when she moves forward, she's doing it intentionally. Not from anger. Not from hurt. Just from clarity. And she's not there yet. Beside her, Eric's breathing evens. Sleep comes easily to him. Lena closes her eyes. Tomorrow she'll wake up. Go to work. Come home. Cook dinner. Sit beside Eric. The same as today. The same as yesterday. Until it isn't. Lena opens a separate bank account on Friday. She does it during lunch. Goes to a branch she's never used. Different bank. One Eric has no connection to. The banker asks routine questions. She answers them. Provides her ID. Her social security number. Her work address. Joint account, the banker asks. No. Individual. Will you be making an initial deposit? Yes. Lena slides a check across the desk. $2,000. From her personal account. Money she's had separately from the beginning. The banker processes it. Hands her temporary checks. A debit card will arrive in 7 to 10 days. Anything else? The banker asks. No. Thank you. Lena leaves with the paperwork in her bag. Drives back to work. Files it in her desk drawer under routine documents. That evening, Eric notices nothing different. The next Monday, she meets with Patricia again. This time, she brings printed documents. Bank statements. Credit card records. Photographs of receipts. The apartment lease information. Everything organized in a folder. Patricia reviews it. Methodically. Page by page. This is thorough, she says. I wanted to be sure. You are. Patricia closes the folder. If you file, this will support your case significantly. I'm not filing yet. When? I don't know. Patricia leans back. What's stopping you? Lena doesn't answer immediately. I want to be ready. You have everything you need. Not everything. What's missing? Lena looks at the folder on the desk between them. I need my own place. Patricia nods. That's smart. Have you started looking? Not yet. You should. If you file while living together, the situation becomes complicated. I know. Do you need time off work to look? I can manage. Patricia makes a note. Once you find a place, let me know. We can time the filing around your move. What about the house? What about it? Can I keep it? That depends. Is there equity? Some. And the mortgage is joint? Yes. Then it will be part of the settlement. You can negotiate to keep it. Buy him out. Or sell and split proceeds. Lena processes this. What if I want him to leave? You can request that. Exclusive use of the marital residence. Courts sometimes grant it, especially if there's evidence of misconduct. Is what he's doing misconduct? Financial misconduct, yes. The affair itself doesn't matter legally, but hiding assets does. Lena nods. One more thing, Patricia says. Don't tell him you're looking for an apartment. Don't tell him you've seen a lawyer. The element of surprise matters. I haven't told anyone. Good. Keep it that way. Lena leaves the office. Drives to a different part of town. Parks in front of an apartment complex with a now leasing sign. She goes inside. The leasing agent is young. Enthusiastic. Looking for a 1-bedroom or 2? 1. Move-in timeline. Flexible. Within the next month. The agent pulls up availability. Shows her floor plans. Rent prices. Lease terms. Would you like to see a unit? Yes. They walk through 2 apartments. Both are smaller than her house. Neutral colors. Standard appliances. Nothing remarkable. I'll think about it, Lena says. Take your time. These units go quickly, though. Lena takes the paperwork. Leaves. Over the next week, she visits 4 more complexes. Collects information. Compares prices. Calculates what she can afford on her salary alone. She doesn't apply yet. Just gathers options. At home, she continues the routine. Dinner. Television. Bed. Eric suspects nothing. One evening, he comes home with flowers. What's this for? Lena asks. No reason. Just felt like it. She puts them in water. They sit on the kitchen counter, bright against the neutral walls. They're nice, she says. I thought you'd like them. That night, he reaches for her in bed. She doesn't pull away. Doesn't respond enthusiastically. Just exists in the moment without resistance. Afterward, he falls asleep quickly. Lena lies awake. Thinks about the flowers. The gesture. Whether it means something or nothing. She doesn't know which would be worse. The next day, she opens a credit card in her name only. Different bank. Different account. Small limit to start. Just enough for emergencies. She sets up auto-pay from her new checking account. Then she forwards her work documents to her personal email. Copies of performance reviews. Salary information. Anything she might need. At home, she photographs her jewelry. Her grandmother's ring. The necklace from her mother. Things that are hers alone. She takes them to a safety deposit box at the new bank. Rents it in her name only. Eric asks about the ring one evening. Where's your grandmother's ring? I took it to get resized. Since when doesn't it fit? It's been loose. I didn't want to lose it. He accepts this. Doesn't question further. On Thursday, Lena stops by the apartment complex she liked best. Fills out an application. Provides proof of income. References. The deposit is $1,500. First month's rent is $1,200. When can you move in? The agent asks. 3 weeks. Perfect. Barring any issues with the application, the unit is yours. Lena signs the paperwork. Writes a check from her new account. You'll hear from us in 2 business days, the agent says. Lena drives home. The lease application is in her bag. Proof that she's leaving. Evidence of forward motion. Eric is cooking dinner when she arrives. You're late, he says. Traffic. There's wine in the fridge. She pours a glass. Stands in the kitchen doorway. Watches him move around the space they've shared for years. We should talk about Thanksgiving, Eric says. What about it? Where we're going? My parents or yours? Lena sips the wine. I don't know yet. We need to decide. It's in 2 weeks. We have time. Eric glances at her. You've been saying that about a lot of things lately. Have I? Yeah. Every time I ask about plans. About decisions. Lena doesn't respond. Are you avoiding something? Eric asks. No. It feels like you are. She sets the glass down. I'm just tired. Of what? Everything. Eric turns off the stove. Faces her fully. Lena. What's going on? Nothing. That's not true. She meets his eyes. He looks concerned. Genuinely. She can't tell if it's real or performed. I'm fine, she says. Just going through something. I'll figure it out. Can I help? No. The word lands hard. Eric's expression shifts. Not anger. Something closer to hurt. Okay, he says quietly. He returns to the food. Plates it in silence. They eat without speaking. After dinner, Eric goes to the office. Closes the door. She hears his voice through it. Low. Extended conversation. Lena clears the table. Loads the dishwasher. Wipes the counters. Then she goes to the bedroom. Opens her laptop. Checks her email. The apartment application has been approved. Move-in date. 3 weeks from today. She closes the laptop. Sits on the edge of the bed. In 3 weeks, she'll have a new address. A place Eric doesn't know about. Somewhere separate. And after that, she'll file. The timeline is real now. Not hypothetical. Not someday. 3 weeks. She hears Eric end his call. His footsteps in the hallway. He appears in the doorway. I'm going to bed, he says. Okay. He changes clothes. Gets under the covers. Doesn't reach for her. Doesn't say goodnight. Just turns off his lamp and faces away. Lena sits in the dark. Stares at nothing. The power has shifted. She knows things Eric doesn't know. Has made preparations he isn't aware of. Has set a timeline he hasn't seen coming. For months, he's been the one with secrets. With parallel structures. With control. Now she has her own. And he has no idea. She gets up. Goes to the bathroom. Looks at her reflection. Same face. Different person behind it. Someone who's opened accounts. Rented an apartment. Hired a lawyer. Documented everything. Someone who's waiting. Not passively. Actively. Strategically. Someone who will leave when she's ready. And she's almost ready. Almost. The days compress. Lena goes to work. Comes home. Makes dinner. Sleeps beside Eric. The routine continues without disruption. But she's moving things. Small items at first. A box of books from the garage. A set of dishes she never uses. Things Eric won't notice missing. She takes them to the new apartment during lunch breaks. The key arrived 3 days ago. She keeps it on a separate ring in her desk drawer. The apartment is still empty. White walls. Bare floors. Her footsteps echo when she walks through it. She leaves the boxes in the corner of the bedroom. Doesn't unpack. Just stacks them. Evidence of transition. At home, Eric doesn't notice the gaps. The missing books. The empty space on the shelf where serving dishes used to be. He's distracted. More calls than usual. More late arrivals. More time in the office with the door closed. Lena doesn't ask about it. One evening, he comes home with takeout. Didn't feel like cooking, he says. That's fine. They eat from containers. Chinese food. The same order they always get. Familiar. Work's been intense, Eric says. Has it? Yeah. New client. Big project. They want everything rushed. Lena nods. Eats. Doesn't comment on how this explanation sounds like others she's heard. Different details. Same structure. You'll be traveling next week, he adds. 2 days. Chicago. Okay. I might not be around much either. This deadline. That's fine. Eric looks at her. You're being very agreeable. Am I? More than usual. Lena sets down her fork. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Something. About what? About anything. He pushes his food around. You're here, but you're not. I'm right here. You know what I mean. She does. But she doesn't acknowledge it. Eric gives up, returns to his food. They finish in silence. That night, Lena packs another box. Waits until Eric is asleep. Takes winter clothes she won't need for months. Things from the back of the closet. Folds them quietly. Tapes the box shut in the garage. In the morning, she loads it into her car before Eric wakes. At the apartment, she stacks it with the others. 7 boxes now. Not enough to live on. Just enough to start. She stands in the empty living room. Imagines furniture. A couch. A table. A life that doesn't include the weight of observation. Then she locks the door. Drives to work. The week passes like this. Incremental removal. Strategic absence. Preparation without announcement. Friday evening, Eric suggests dinner out. I'm tired, Lena says. We haven't gone out in weeks. I know. Come on. Just one night. She agrees because refusal would draw attention. They go to an Italian place they used to like. The host recognizes them. Long time, he says. Too long, Eric replies. They sit by the window. Order wine. The menu is the same. Eric talks about the client. The project. Deadlines they're trying to meet. He's animated. More engaged than he's been at home in months. Lena listens. Nods at appropriate moments. You're quiet, Eric says. I'm listening. You're always listening. I want to hear you talk. About what? Anything. Work. Plans. What you're thinking. Lena sips her wine. I don't have much to say. That's not true. It is right now. Eric leans back. Studies her. Are you happy? The question is sudden. Direct. Lena sets her glass down. Why are you asking? Because I can't tell anymore. Does it matter? Of course it matters. She doesn't respond immediately. Just looks at him across the table. His face is familiar. The shape of it. The way his jaw tightens when he's uncertain. She's known this face for years. And she doesn't know it at all. I don't know if I'm happy, she says finally. That's not a good answer. It's the only one I have. Eric's hand moves across the table. Stops short of hers. What can I do? Nothing. There has to be something. There isn't. He withdraws his hand. The waiter arrives with food. They eat without continuing the conversation. On the drive home, Eric tries again. If something's wrong, we can fix it. Some things can't be fixed. What does that mean? It means what it means. Eric doesn't push. Just drives. His jaw is tight again. At home, they go to separate rooms. He to the office. She to the bedroom. Lena lies on the bed fully clothed. Stares at the ceiling. Counts the days until her move-in date. 8 days. She thinks about what happens after. The filing. The serving of papers. Eric's face when he realizes. She tries to imagine his response. Denial. Anger. Justification. She can't predict which. Maybe all of them. Maybe none. The door opens. Eric stands in the frame. I don't know what you want from me, he says. I don't want anything. That's the problem. He closes the door. She hears him in the bathroom. Water running. The routine of getting ready for bed. When he returns, he gets under the covers on his side. Doesn't reach for her. The space between them feels wider than the mattress. Good night, he says. Lena doesn't respond. She lies awake after his breathing evens. Thinks about the apartment. The box is waiting. The key in her drawer at work. 8 days. Then 7. Then 6. Each day identical. Work. Home. Dinner. Silence. Bed. She moves more items. Towels. Bathroom supplies. A lamp. Nothing Eric would miss, but everything she'll need. On Tuesday, she buys basic furniture. A bed frame. A small table. 2 chairs. Arranges delivery for the day. She gets the keys officially. At work, she updates her direct deposit. Splits it. Half to the joint account. Half to her personal account. The change won't show until next month. By then, it won't matter. Wednesday, she copies the house key. Leaves the original on her keychain. Puts the copy in an envelope addressed to Patricia. Mails it. Thursday, Eric comes home early. She's in the kitchen. Not cooking. Just standing there. You okay, he asks. Fine. You don't look fine. I'm just thinking. About what? Things. He moves closer. Lena, talk to me. There's nothing to talk about. There's clearly something. She turns to face him. Do you love me? The question stops him. What? Do you love me? Of course I do. Why? Why? He looks confused. Because you're my wife. That's not a reason. What do you want me to say? Lena doesn't answer. Just looks at him. Waits. Eric's expression shifts. From confusion to frustration. I don't understand what's happening here. I know you don't. Then help me understand. I can't. Why not? Because you wouldn't hear it. She walks past him. Goes to the bedroom. Closes the door. Eric doesn't follow. Later, she hears him leave. The car starting. Pulling away. She sits on the edge of the bed. Breathes. 5 days. When Eric returns 3 hours later, she's already in bed. He doesn't turn on the light. Just undresses in the dark and slides under the covers. He doesn't explain where he went. She doesn't ask. In the morning, he's gone before she wakes. Friday. For days. Saturday. 3 days. Sunday. 2 days. Each one passes without incident. Without confrontation. Without change. The house exists in a strange stillness. Conversations are minimal. Proximity without connection. Lena feels like she's living in a photograph. Everything looks right. Nothing is. Monday evening, Eric cooks. They eat together. The television plays. Neither of them watches. I'm traveling Wednesday, he says during a commercial. Where? Portland. Client meeting. I'll be back Friday. Lena nods. Wednesday. Her official move-in date. She doesn't tell him that. Okay, she says. You'll be all right here alone? I'll be fine. Eric looks like he wants to say more. Doesn't. Just returns his attention to the screen. That night, Lena doesn't sleep. She lies beside Eric. Watches him sleep. Wonders if this is the last time. Tomorrow he leaves. Tomorrow she moves. Tomorrow, everything changes. But she doesn't feel ready. Even with the plan in place. The apartment waiting. The lawyer briefed. She still exists in this in-between. Knowing without acting. Preparing without committing. Beside her, Eric shifts. His hand moves across the sheets. Finds hers. Even in sleep, he reaches for her. Lena doesn't pull away. Just lies there. Hand in hand with someone she's leaving. Tomorrow. Eric leaves Tuesday morning. His suitcase is by the door. He's dressed for travel. Business casual. The outfit he wears for client meetings. I'll call when I land, he says. Okay. He kisses her forehead. Routine gesture. Then he's gone. Lena waits until his car pulls out of the driveway. Then she calls in sick to work. The movers arrive at 9. 2 men. A small truck. She hired them a week ago. Paid cash. Used her new address. Just the items with the red tags? One asks. Yes. She'd marked everything the night before. While Eric packed upstairs, she'd moved through the house with colored stickers. Red for what goes. Nothing for what stays. The furniture is his anyway. Bought before they married. She never liked the couch. The dining table is too large. The bed frame, too heavy. She's taking practical things. Her desk from the spare room. A bookshelf. The chair from the corner. Kitchen items that are hers. Clothes. Personal belongings. The movers work efficiently. In and out. They don't ask questions. Don't comment on the half-empty closet or the gaps on shelves. By 11, the truck is loaded. Lena walks through the house one more time. Room by room. Noticing what's gone. What remains? The bathroom still has Eric's things. His razor. His shampoo. Her side is empty. The closet is asymmetrical now. His clothes fill most of the rod. A few of her dresses remain. One she doesn't wear. Things she's leaving behind intentionally. In the kitchen, she opens the refrigerator. Takes only what's hers. A container of yogurt. Fruit she bought. Leaves the rest. The lunch container is still there. The one she'd made weeks ago. The day this started. She doesn't touch it. She closes the refrigerator. In the living room, she sets her keys on the coffee table. House keys. Garage door opener. Everything except her car key. Then she picks up her purse. Looks around one more time. The house is quiet. Just the hum of appliances. Distant traffic. She walks out. Closes the door behind her. Doesn't lock it. Eric has his keys. The movers are waiting. She follows them to the apartment. They unload quickly. Stack boxes in rooms she indicates. Set up the furniture she bought. Anything else? One asks. No. Thank you. They leave. Lena stands in the apartment. Boxes surround her. Furniture she doesn't recognize yet. Walls that aren't familiar. She unpacks the bed first. Makes it with sheets she bought new. Everything fresh. Nothing carried over. Then the kitchen. Plates in cabinets. Silverware in drawers. The rhythm is mechanical. Hands moving without thought. Her phone buzzes. Eric. Landed. Meeting in an hour. Talk tonight. She stares at the message. Types, sure. Sends it. Then she turns off her phone. She unpacks until evening. The apartment takes shape slowly. Functional, but incomplete. Lived in, but not settled. At 7, she sits on the new couch. Looks around. This is where she is now. This space that's only hers. She doesn't cry. Doesn't feel relief. Just sits. Her phone is still off. She leaves it that way. The next morning, she dresses for work. Leaves from the apartment. The drive is different. Different route. Different timing. She arrives 10 minutes early. No one asks why she wasn't in yesterday. She doesn't explain. At lunch, she turns on her phone. 7 messages from Eric. How was your day? You didn't answer last night. Is everything okay? Call me. Lena, I'm getting worried. Are you there? Please respond. She types. Everything's fine. Phone died. Busy day. 3 dots appear. Then, okay. I'll call tonight when I'm back at the hotel. She doesn't respond to that. That evening, she doesn't return to the house. Goes straight to the apartment. Makes simple dinner. Eats alone. Her phone rings at 8. Eric. She answers. Hey, she says. Finally. I was starting to think something happened. I'm fine. Where were you last night? I tried calling. Asleep. Phone was off. All night. I was tired. Silence. Then, are you sure everything's okay? Yes. You sound different. I'm just tired. You keep saying that. Lena doesn't respond. I'll be home Friday. Eric says. We should talk. About what? About whatever's going on with you. Nothing's going on. Lena. His voice is firmer now. Something is. You've been distant for weeks. You barely talk. You disappear. I don't know what's happening, but we need to address it. Okay. Okay. That's it. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me what's wrong. When you get back. Why not now? Because not over the phone. Eric exhales. Frustrated. Fine. Friday. But we're having this conversation. Okay. They end the call. Lena sets the phone down. Looks around the apartment. Her apartment. The place Eric doesn't know about. Friday. He'll come home to a half-empty house. He'll notice eventually. The missing furniture. The gaps. Her absence. Or maybe he won't. Maybe he'll think she's just out. Running errands. At work late. Maybe he'll text. Call. Wait. And she'll answer. Or she won't. She hasn't decided yet. Patricia has the papers ready. Signed. Dated. Ready to be served. Lena could have them delivered Friday. While Eric is home. Discovering. Realizing. Or she could wait. Let him figure it out first. Let the absence speak before the paperwork does. She doesn't know which would be more honest. On Thursday, Eric texts throughout the day. Morning. Meeting went well. Heading to the airport soon. Should be home by 7. Wanting to pick up dinner? Lena responds to every other message. Good. No, I'll cook. At 6, she sits in the apartment. Thinks about going to the house. Being there when he arrives. Having the conversation he wants. She doesn't move. At 7:15, her phone rings. Eric. She doesn't answer. It rings again at 7:30. Then 8. Then 8:30. Text messages appear between calls. I'm home. Where are you? Lena? Your car isn't here. Did you go somewhere? Call me. She reads them. Doesn't respond. At 9, he calls again. This time she answers. Where are you? His voice is tight. Controlled. I'm at an apartment. What apartment? Mine. Silence. Long enough that she thinks the call dropped. Then, what do you mean, yours? I moved out. When? Wednesday. Wednesday. He repeats it. Processing. While I was gone. Yes. Why? Lena doesn't answer immediately. Sits with the question. All the answers she could give. All the evidence she's collected. All the observations made. Because I needed to, she says finally. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. Lena, what is happening? I think you know. I don't. I really don't. She almost believes him. The confusion in his voice sounds genuine. But she's heard him sound genuine before. When he explained the transfers. When he said he loved her. When he promised nothing was wrong. Come home, Eric says. Please. Let's talk about this. I can't. Why not? Because it's not my home anymore. Yes, it is. It's our home. No. It's yours. Lena. I have to go. Wait. Don't hang up. Just. She ends the call. The phone rings immediately. She turns it off. Sits in the silence of the apartment. Her apartment. Where Eric has never been. Where his life and hers don't intersect. She doesn't know what he's doing right now. If he's calling again. Coming here. Except he doesn't know where here is. Walking through the house, noticing what's gone. She doesn't know if he's upset or confused or angry or relieved. She doesn't know if he's calling the woman from the cafe, if he's going to the apartment she's never seen inside, if he's staying in the house alone. And she realizes she doesn't need to know. For months, she's collected information, documented, observed, built a case. Now she's leaving without presenting it, walking away without the confrontation, without explanations or accusations or answers. The evidence exists. In her phone, in files, in Patricia's office. But she's not using it yet. Maybe she will. Maybe the papers will be served next week. Maybe Eric will come home to legal documents and have to respond. Or maybe she'll wait longer. Let the separation exist without definition. Let him wonder without confirmation. She hasn't decided. What she knows is that she's here, in this space that's hers. And he's there, in the house they shared. And the distance between them is finally visible. Not hidden, not managed, not observed in secret, just real. Lena gets up, unpacks another box, hangs clothes in the closet. Her closet, not shared, not divided, just hers. Outside, the city continues. Traffic, lights, people moving through their own lives. Inside, she makes the apartment more familiar, one item at a time. She doesn't turn her phone back on, doesn't check for messages, doesn't imagine Eric's response, just exists in the space she's created. The life that's starting, incomplete, unresolved, uncertain, but separate. Finally,